Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is politics and friends. So, it's a pretty tense political climate right now, and many people are going back and forth about how they feel and what's what. And it's safe to say, based on the votes and what we've seen, that half the country literally believes one way, and half the country literally believes the other way. So, what do you do when that's the country versus somebody you're friends with and you go back and forth with? Now, most people would tell you it's not worth getting in a fight over politics. I highly disagree. And the reason I do is the reason politics are such a passionate issue, the reason people get so worked up about them is because normally it speaks to the core of what your fundamental ideology or pragmatic view of the world is. Okay? And I usually divide people in those two things. You're either a pragmatic person or you're an ideologue. And with that, it means that you have different ideas, or you look at the world and this is what it is right now, this is what has to be done, and then other people look at it with a vision, and then you mix it all in there and you can be a little bit of everything. The reason I particularly tell people that I think if somebody is so politically different than you, that if you want to remain good friends with them, or let's say you're in a relationship with you, that's likely to fail eventually. And the reason that is because your core values are literally that different. Now, you might say, well, different is good. I agree to an extent. So when it comes to being different, you might look at an issue and say, hey, I look at it this way and you look at it that way. We actually believe in the same thing, but we believe in a different way of getting there. To me, those are acceptable forms of being different. But being different on a fundamental level, how to raise kids, religion, ideologues, tension, issues that matter, the way the economy should be run, the way you look at military, the way you do these kind of things, it can divide people rather quickly. And there's a reason for that, because you're not alike. Opposites attract, but they likely don't last, and they don't keep strong connections. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't, exceptions to the rule, that there aren't people out there that argue and fight and eventually look at things completely different. What I'm saying is that you will have stronger connections with people who believe in your core values, because you can pick up the phone and pick up, like you were just talking yesterday. Eventually, people that are vastly different will have a weaker, more strenuous, and more distant relationship as time moves on. Now, there are people I know who are completely opposite that still talk. However, I know more people who have their core values intact with each other, who stay together longer, talk more often, and just have a stronger connection in general. So what does that tell you? It tells you, like I said, opposites attract, but they typically don't last. Now, does that mean you should go unfriend on Facebook every friend who doesn't believe in what you believe in? No. What I'm saying is, if there are people who are a complete opposite, and I mean complete opposite. Look, I've sat down with somebody who ran and supported the Hillary campaign, was literally involved in the Hillary campaign. And me and that person that I sat down with, she was an attorney, and obviously I'm a life coach and I do other business ventures, and we are completely opposite in the way we see the world, like literally completely opposite. However, we smiled and had a good time. We talked for 3 hours about politics, and we never got ugly towards each other one time. So what that means is that you can sit down with people who are vastly different than you and still have a constructive conversation. However, it's not someone I'm going to be talking to every day, or that we're going to be getting along every day, or that we're going to be, because simply people who believe that strongly in something want to be a part of an energy that believes in that too. And when you're like that, you typically spend more time with those type of people. So nobody should take an affront to somebody because they don't believe in the same thing you do. But if you just recognize that your relationship will likely be weaker than those who do believe in what you believe in. And that's a part of biology and nature. It's kind of like if I was alive 5,000 years ago and running around with cavemen, and some of the cavemen believe that we should go hunt and get meat and store it and freeze it, and others are like we should live off berries, and there would be a clear difference, and there would be an argument amongst the pack. Now, eventually, one of those ideas is going to win, and one group's going to be mad and say, I'll either start my own group, or fine, I'll just accept it. And that's the point here, is that at some point you make a decision. You're going to make a decision whether you want to stick with people who are a lot like you and people who aren't a lot like you. So when people ask me, hey, I got in a fight about politics with somebody, should I unfriend them? the first thing I always say is, name me 3 of your core values and name me 3 of their core values, and I'll tell you whether you guys or girls or women or men or whoever it is that you're arguing with, a relationship, a family member, a friendship, if it's going to last. Now, like I said, there's probably 5% of people out there that are completely opposite, that have harmonious relationships, but it's very far and in between. It's not a normality. It's just like there's a reason why there were so many people at Hillary's campaign and why there were so many people at Trump's campaign. All those people believe in the same thing. Therefore, they all stay together and they carry an energy. That's the point. And you might say, well, that's politics. Politics is life. All these laws, all these people who go into office, they do things that affect your life. That's the point. That's why people are so convicted. It's not like you're going to the store and getting in a fight over wheat bread versus white bread. Okay? You're getting in a fight about things that you're extremely passionate about. And there's a reason why when somebody gets elected, it takes so long for you to get somewhere in your ideologue and in your pragmatic views and things, and think about it. In the end, what matters is, do you see a future with the person you're talking to in both philosophy, love, operations, all the things that make a relationship go? Think about those things. So before you unfriend somebody, make sure you know what their cores are, not just over one argument. Make sure you understand what their cores are in general. Okay. In the end, I think everybody is primarily good people, whether they sit on one side or the other. However, it can make life more difficult when somebody's vastly different than you. Okay. And I hope this information was helpful. And if you want to work with me, you can contact me on my Life Coach Landry YouTube channel, or you can go through the Landry Media and the affiliates of the channel and contact me that way. And if this information was just of value to you, you can show that appreciation by clicking on any of the donation links in our media channels. Thanks. Talk to you soon.